Yeah, they were pushed all the way, weren't they? I mean, we said before the game, the squad that Portugal have, then there's the evidence for it. If it's not going as well as they want and expect, they've got big game players who can come off the bench and change things, and that's exactly what's happened with the substitute coming on, Conceicao, and winning the game for them.
Yeah.
But they've had to work hard for it, you know. I mean, the Czech Republic defended really, really well, made it difficult for them. A key thing for Portugal is the number of balls and crosses that they've put into the box all game was quite remarkable, and again, that's what's won them the game. They're work in progress. They'll get better. It's like many teams that we've seen already. It's just about getting the win. He will not be bothered, Roberto, that they've been pushed all the way. He's had to change things. They were really up against a stubborn opponent, but they're on top and they've got the 3 points, and that's all that he will be bothered about.
Yeah, that's right. It's a confidence booster when something like that happens, isn't it, Cesc?
Yeah, definitely, because it happened the worst thing, you know, when you play against this type of games, this type of teams, and you don't score, and then all of a sudden they score in one chance that they got. This is the worst, you know, scenario that you can feel inside as a player, where you have to, you know, now perform the other way around. But they managed, they stuck to the plan, they changed their positional game a little bit. They put Cancelo out wide, they took a defender off and put a little bit of more of a Gambala up front as they had to, and in this case it worked out very well. It's a good sign. They weren't brilliant, they didn't have the best of games, but it's a good sign for them to keep growing to the tournament.
What do you make of Portugal, Frank?
Well, I think the talent, which we spoke about before, and we saw glimpses of it there, that can win you games, that's always going to be a big factor. I think they're still searching a little bit. I think it's a good game for Roberto to look at it there. I think they've got their 3 points. They'll be happy with that. I think the system, we spoke a lot. I think we'll look again at the amount of numbers are in the box, making sure that if they're going to make that many crosses in a game, you'd certainly want to review that and go, OK, are we getting enough people in the box? Because you see the goals there and the offside goal there. That's because Jota, all of a sudden, who is a box man and a sniffer, he's there now. He's getting the next one. He's putting pressure on defenders. You get an own goal. So I think there may be a good game for them to review stuff. I think Roberto's a fantastic coach, and maybe we'll see them looking slightly different as it goes on.
And his changes worked, and that's always lovely for a coach, isn't it?
Sure.
Sure. Absolutely. Czech Republic had one shot on target. It was quite a good one.
It's a very special one. I mean, already we've seen some wonderful goals in this tournament, and he just strikes it perfectly, doesn't he? He knows exactly where he's putting it, and the balance, the technique, and everything gets over that ball there, and he knows he's going into that far post, and it's I have to say it's rolled into him superbly well. The right pace on the ball, so he can just go. There you go and have a pop at goal. Wow, what a strike!
It's an amazing finish, obviously, at this level as well, because of what it means. But it is like that is like a training session, man. It's like the perfect little set.
Yeah.
And as if you're a player likes to come in and you get that kind of whip away from the keeper, you have to get the connection perfectly what he did. But the set was perfect. It's a nice finish.
Yeah, you mentioned Jota came on, and he's lively. He's a box player. We've seen him score those kind of goals, haven't we, for Liverpool over the last few seasons. And it made a difference. But first of all, they had to get back into the game, of course, and Staniek's handling occasionally. I mean, it was difficult conditions, weren't they, out there? It was very wet, raining, but it was a little bit like a bar of soap at times, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, he's made this error to begin with, hasn't he? Sort of first half, and put his team under pressure there. Made a couple of errors, and I'm not sure he looked that comfortable with that, which may be understandable because the conditions were horrific, and if you're a Portuguese player, then that's what you're going to try and aim at. But he's got to catch that. I mean, and also he's pushing it straight back into the danger area. The defender really can't do anything at all about it.
I think here the difference, as we talk about, is the pressure that they put on the Czech defenders now because of the numbers. I think if you, at this point, Mendes, who gets the header, and Cancelo, who's now right wing back, are both inside the box, as well as Ronaldo, as well as Jota here, as you see. And those things are not always perfect goals. Sometimes it's like getting those numbers in there to put them under pressure, and you get, OK, a goalkeeping mistake. But if there's Ronaldo, as he was in the first half, slightly on his own, maybe that mistake doesn't happen. So they definitely upped it towards the end of the game when they knew they had to get back in the game.
Yeah, and then, of course, they had that disallowed goal from Jota that I was sort of trying to lead into before, but I'd forgotten about the own goal. I'm getting old, you know. Things slip from your mind.
I mean, you're getting old. What do you mean?
Yeah, spring chicken there.
It's a similar theme again. I think some decent build-up play, which allows you the time to get people. But yes, I think Ronaldo, we know he can do it. We all expect that to hit the back of the net. But Jota, has done that at Liverpool and Wolves beforehand. He really is a sniffer. He gets a lot of goals with his head as well. Obviously, this is bounces back off the post to him, and we're talking, very tight decision. But the beauty of it was how quickly it was made.
Yeah, it works well, doesn't it? It's a lot better.
It's a lot better, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Because it takes away I mean, I'm sure there'll be tighter ones, and you'll go, "Oh, we're not sure," and how can you say it? But it's kind of a little bit slightly more convincing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's quicker,
definitely.
It's definitely quicker.
Yeah, we trust it more, I think, don't we?
Yeah, which is the most important thing. Conceicao, what a moment for him.
Well, you're sent on to change the game, to go and do something. You've got to go and make an impact as a substitute, whether you've got to save the game or whether you've got to win the game. And there's one sub that came on, and you're thinking, come on then, what do you got? But again, the key to the game and the key for Portugal is crosses and balls into the box. That's what's won them the game tonight. I mean, it was constant every single time, wasn't it?
Absolutely, and this is great because now you're going back to having two sort of standard wingers on the pitch now. Neto gets away and does what we've seen him do in the Premier League. It's obviously a defensive mistake, but that's a winger, Conceicao, ending up on the opposite near post.
Only 2 caps.
And there you go. Yeah, so I'm sure his dad's going to be very proud of him.
As well as they've defended for a lot of the game, the Czech Republic. I mean, they'll look back at the 2 errors, one from the goalkeeper and, of course, the defender there. I mean, if someone sticks it in the top bin from 25 yards, to say OK. But because of those 2 mistakes, they'll be...
Yeah, it's quite interesting because I don't know whether you knew that Hasek, the Czech Republic coach, is a qualified lawyer, and for a while there we could certainly make a case for the defence, couldn't we?
You've been working on that one the last 10 minutes, haven't you?
What about Ronaldo's evening? I mean, he's always a threat, isn't he? There's chances, there always is. He gets in the box. He's dangerous in the air.
At the end of the day, whatever you do, if he plays well, if the team doesn't play well, he always finds a chance, to create something for himself throughout the team. He's in this moment, and I think he feels so much confident, even with his body, like Frank mentioned before. He takes care of himself to another level, his mentality, and just. He needs only one little turn, one little moment of space, confidence to turn around and get something into the box, create a chance. The second goal, always coming from him as well. And his overall play, I think, has been much, much better than what we've seen the last couple of years. And
very clever there, the way just on the shoulder and then just
he attacks the space, always in front of the defender. He's unique.
Sometimes, they were in really good positions, and I felt as if they were all, where's Ronaldo? We sort of have to find him in and around. When they're in the 18-yard box, it's as if they've got to find him. They've got to find a pass to look for him. Whereas sometimes there were better options on.
Yeah, OK. Let's remind you of what happened in the early game in this group when Georgia met Turkey. Sounds like a date. Not bad, eh?
Some strikes,
absolute belters. Best one?
Strikes, yeah. Arda Güler's. Arda Güler, that.
Yeah, it was beautiful. What a talent he is, Real Madrid youngster.
Talent.
That's the best one?
I think so.
I like the volley as well, the technique to hit it coming out of the air. Both goals from the game.
For the moment and the youth and for the talent that he is, I think, are the
special
top.
Yeah. We've seen all 12 teams now. Most of the kind of favourites have won their games, haven't they? Who's impressed you most so far, Frank?
Germany.
Germany.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke before about Scotland not being at it, so I think you've got to understand maybe that. But I do think that they're a team that are slightly underestimated. They had a difficult year results-wise at times, change of manager.
Yeah.
I think when you go pound for pound through their team and their home nation here, and the style of the way they played, I loved the way that they were counter-pressing so well. It's obviously a style of the manager that they have, but they've got these real players. Tony Cruz coming into it is the biggest brain you could have in midfield to just set up how they want to build. And then these exciting players on the wings that they've got. I thought they were really impressive. Yeah,
12 games, 24 teams, of course. You must have enjoyed Spain, though, Cesc?
Yes, I did. And for me, I've been very impressed, to be fair, because I know what's said back in the country. Germany played against Scotland. We know it was in a certain way. But Spain, with a very young team, new generation, playing against a Croatia that is already made, is with plenty of experienced players. I don't think we expected a performance like that and how aggressive we were. We were in the front foot, pressing high with the ball, quite dominant, attacking spaces in behind. So I think we were very impressed, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad, because now the country...
You've peaked too soon. You've peaked too soon, Cesc.
See, that's what happens, isn't it? When you play well, then I'm not sure that's a good thing.
Right. And when you don't play well, you think, are we ever going to play well? Speaking of which, England was kind of a bit of both, really, wasn't it? Good start, not so great second half.
I thought they were...
Denmark on Thursday, which of course is live on BBC One. That kicks off at 5 o'clock. We'll be on air at 4. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, can't wait. 35 minutes, I thought they were excellent. And they weren't so good the second half. Plenty to work on, but you can say that against Italy. You can say that with Portugal tonight. France exactly the same. So no panic. England are in a good position and looking forward to Thursday.
Yeah, the important thing is obviously to get 3 points, isn't it, at this stage? I mean, it's pretty hard not to qualify, isn't it, for the big nations, given the fact that 16 teams will go out of 24.
Yeah.
So it's just what you just need to feel that there's something special, don't you, at some point?
I think it's great for the feeling in the camp and the feeling outside because the players pick that up from inside as well. Yeah. I think it will hopefully give Gareth a chance if we can get a good result against Denmark to start using other players in the squad. Yeah. People are asking about Cole Palmer, people are asking different questions about the midfield. So I think he'll get that as well. And it's not the worst thing to iron out a few things that you see in that first game. Just you can make the players aware that this is what we need to improve if we're going to go far.
Yeah. Yeah. And the interesting thing I was thinking in tournament football is that you can play poorly for a little while and then suddenly you find a little bit of a spark, something happens and the world's a better place. We're going to talk a little bit more about England on the iPlayer, so please join us for that. But for the game we've seen tonight, Portugal's super sub wins it. He's Conceicao. 2021, they've been clearly the better side and they'll probably, they'll be bit cross on themselves not to be ahead at half-time.
Yeah, absolutely. With the possession that they've had, the chances that they've created, the number of balls that they've put into the box. I mean, the crosses, they've had 18 crosses in this first half, and the most in a game with the Euros up to now is in a full game is 27. So that's clearly a tactic that they're trying to upset the Czech Republic with. But it's just been one-way domination, and when they get the ball back, very much like Germany against Scotland, they've just got no threat. They've got no forward line, so they're clearing the ball, and Portugal are just coming at them again. And it's been a half of domination for Portugal, but without getting the goals.
No, Czech Republic have not offered much, have they? They've not really sat with a really low block or anything, have they? It's been quite open, and you would have fancied Portugal might find a way through.
Yeah, I think they've had moments, but they've been quite open overall. We spoke about it before the game. It was going always to be a one-way traffic game, and I think Portugal, they need to keep patience. They need to switching the ball, attacking the little spaces. Obviously, Cristiano with his intelligence and the moment where he's in his career and the players that he's got around him, he should attack more the box. Alan just mentioned a lot of crosses. That's what he wants. That's his game at the moment where he can be more dangerous. And I believe that if they keep going this way, it's a matter of time before the goal comes.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. Unsurprisingly, Cristiano's looked the most likely.
Yeah, I think you never lose that sort of nature that he knows the movements to make, the technique about his finishing. He obviously hasn't got one away properly tonight, but you feel it's a matter of time if they keep giving him chances. But yeah, I think the closer that Portugal can force them back and make those sort of slide passes around the box, at his age now, that feels where he's most ready to, because he's still got that quick movement. Yeah. It's the counter-attacking stuff that maybe over the years would have seen him really open up over big distances. He'd never losing that. And that's why maybe he sometimes comes across slightly static in the box. He's almost kind of going, I'm always saving my energy. Yeah. If you're going to give it to my feet or I make a quick movement, then I'll be there for it.
Over 5 yards, he's still pretty sharp, isn't he? And I mean, they have got a lot of crosses in, haven't they?
Well, yeah, that's been a key to their game. Clearly, he wants and demands crosses, but when he's struggled is that when the balls have sort of come in from afar, and you're thinking, OK, this is a good movement here. Where are you? Because I think that's a good ball into the box, and he's actually struggled to get in there. Same thing again when they go in behind there. You think, OK, come on, where are you? But it's when it's that quick build-up, when they sort of try to hit them on the counter-attack, that he hasn't been in the box, whether he's come short. And another one there, I think, look, there's actually no one in the box there. But when he has looked particularly sharp is when the ball has been in and around the box and he's just got to go the little 5 or 10 yards. And that's when he shows that sort of pace, When the ball does come and he gets on the end of it, it's not his finest finish. He doesn't get the connection that he wants. But as I said, balls from out wide where he's got to make that long effort to get in there. He sort of hasn't been in there and struggled to get in there. But balls in and around the box when it's a 5 or a 10-yard movement, then he has looked sharp.
Yeah, you've spotted something else that you think they could improve on Portugal.
Yeah. I think when you're crossing this much, and I think they had an awareness that they'll force Czechs back in this game, and they have done. But I think you also have to have sort of understanding or some rules almost that you have to make the box. And I think when you're crossing those areas, you just sort of keep it there. You look at the midfield players, and this is their natural instinct. Bruno Fernandes likes to have the ball around his feet in these areas. I think Bernardo likes to come and get the ball. To ask them to be arriving in the box like Jude Bellingham's goal the other night, sometimes a natural instinct that you want to arrive. But if you're not going to do that, then you're going to keep putting 18 crosses and you might not get on the end of as you need to. So a midfield player, and it might be a case where he tries to bring on an extra attacking player at some point just to have more numbers higher up the pitch.
Especially as well when you guys were strikers and you offensive midfielder arriving to the box, like Jude, for example, the other day. When you have these players behind you, surely you will feel confident that the ball is always going to get there, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And particularly when, if Cristiano is coming short for the ball, he's coming short for a reason. Yeah. He's coming short because he's leaving space in behind for one of the midfielders to go in and attack that space.
Yeah, and sometimes it's easier in these circumstances, isn't it, when the other team has an attack and you can hit them on the counter attack. Yeah,
for sure. I think we talk a lot. When you're going against what is a bit of a low block with the Czechs, they've been forced to be pretty pragmatic in their approach, but your best chances can be like this when they've opened. They've just had a half an attack there before, and when they're open and the numbers are down, and then you see Leao. And the good thing about this is Leao spent 90% of that game really giving the team width and stretching the game. When he gets central, when he's got that pace, this is probably why in his career he doesn't quite score enough goals and get that end product.
I wonder here, there's just just pulling him back, maybe that's just enough, that quarter of an inch could have been possibly different.
That's all you need, isn't it, is the defender to do something without giving the penalty away, just to try and deny you that little half an inch that you perhaps might need.
Ronaldo's little movement around the box, once he's in there, in that area, though, he does create himself some chances. He's a master at finding a bit of space, Cesc.
Oh, he's fantastic, and he has this monster mentality. He smells the goal better than anyone. And again, I think this team, the way they want to play, the way they dominate, the type of players they have wide behind him, who can find little spaces and little passes in between, is the perfect team for him at his age and at the moment where he is to score goals. Yeah.
Still got a bit of magic, there's no question of that. Cesc, you spotted something interesting tactically, the way they changed the system and the shape, depending on the circumstances.
Yeah, I was a little bit curious to see what Roberto was going to do. I didn't expect that. It surprised me a little bit in terms of the players' positions. But yeah, it's a 3+1, then 3 number 10s and 3 strikers. But the most important thing here and the most noticeable one is the Cancelo, who is a fullback or a wingback defensively. He joins in midfield. He plays basically like a number 10 with a lot of mobility. Yeah. And, for me, when they are so deep, these teams, they need to switch the ball very, very very quickly, create spaces on the side, 1-against-1 with Leao, and make crosses like they're doing, and they will be fine. Yeah.
The Czechs have had no shots on target, only 1 touch in the opposing box. There were a couple of crosses I saw that came in that were possibly a threat, but nothing else.
No, and it's unfortunate almost for them, because I think your mindset as a team, when you don't feel like you can lay a glove too much, even the counter-attack is not really an option, and that's coming back at you. And if they build, you kind of had a semi-chance at the back end of the half with a cross. But once you lose that confidence that we can't even get up the pitch, then I think mentally it's hard. We've seen 45 minutes there. Another 45 is going to be challenging when you're going to see what's coming. And I think Cesc's point there is important because of the setup with Portugal. I'll be interested to see how patient Roberto is about having Cancelo in that higher position, because they're so comfortable in their build, and they will be as the game goes on. Will he then start going, I've got Neto and Jota and these players on the bench?
Well, they've got an amazingly strong bench, haven't they?
So he might look to adjust that higher up. He's been smart how to set up, but maybe they don't need that extra defensive player.
Yeah.